I don't know. What's going on? I'm so happy to be talking with you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank
So
you for
happy to be
having
talking with
me.
you. Listen, you are so pretty. Look at you. You are beautiful. You don't age.
Thank you.
You
I
do not age.
appreciate you better. You my new best friend.
Oh, listen, your best friend, you know what they say? How they say you're a real bad bitch? Got your own money? Listen, that can be me. That can be me.
That could be you.
Straight sweetie up
I
inside here.
receive that. I receive that.
Yes.
I'm gonna
But
sit up on a
Victoria, let
pillow
me
so I
tell
can
you.
get this better here.
Go ahead. Get
Hold
comfortable.
on.
Get
Let
comfortable.
me
Let's
get
chit chat.
comfortable.
Let's talk. Let's
Let's
do
talk.
this.
Let's
Let's
talk.
talk. So first of all, you are literally the epitome of never not working. I can tell people, I'm like, oh, Victoria's in this. Oh, Victoria's in this. Oh, Victoria's in this. And I'm just like, okay. Because let me tell you, I'm not trying to tell your age or nothing like that. I'm going to be telling my own age. Because I grew up watching you on Mutinex, Cleopatra 25. Of course, I've seen you on NCIS. I saw you on All My Children, you know, Young and the Restless God. And like you just work. Soap star, action star, superhero.
Thank
What
you.
don't you do?
That's a good question. I'm West Indian, so, we don't play. There's never a moment where there's any grass growing under our feet. We got to keep it moving and we keep hustling and grinding, and that's just what it is. What don't I do? That's a long list, but I'd prefer to focus on the things I do. The things I don't is because I don't do them well.
Well, let's talk about what you do. We do know that above all else, you act. You're an
Yeah,
amazing actress, and you
thank
deliver every
you.
time you're on the screen.
Thank
What is the
you.
secret to your longevity? You've been in the game for years now.
Woo, God, like
Mm.
God, spelled with a G-A-W-D, God.
Yo, D.
I do have a really strong, I seriously, I really do have a really strong spiritual practice. I don't play when it comes to my dedication and commitment to my faith and gratitude. The more you thank him, the more he gives you to be thankful for. And I live my life like that. So keeping myself grounded, meditation, yoga, prayer. I surround myself with people who believe similar things. I'm about squeezing every bit of juice out of this life. So
Mm.
that's, I think, how I've kept working and how I've had longevity and how I've had success.
Squeezing every bit of juice out of this life. I love that. You better. You only get it one time. So you might as well
Right?
squeeze and get for everything it is.
Right.
Meat,
And
pulp, seeds, skin, all of it.
all of it. And for those who are like, well, what if we believe in multiple lifetimes? You don't remember those right now. You might
You
get
don't.
glimpses. They not here. Right now we have the
Right.
present. And this is the only life we have right in this moment. So you might as well enjoy it and love and have joy. And yeah.
It's amazing that you say that, because a lot of people always say, well, you have time. You have time. I'm like, do I really?
Do you? You
Do
don't
I? I
know.
need to be working like I don't have the time. I
That's
think
the
I watched
thing.
an episode of Pose where when the
I love that show.
yeah, you remember when the teacher was talking to Damien? She said, "Time is not
Yes.
your friend. Time comes for
Okay.
us all, and it always wins in the end." And I was like,
Okay.
that was a sign for me that, Mike, get
Yes.
your ass up, stop procrastinating.
All right. That was Charlene Woodard.
Yes.
You want to talk about longevity? I was in a show with her when I was 6 years old. Okay, I might be telling my age a little bit, but
Wow.
I was 6 years old in a Broadway bound show at the Public Theater in New York City. And she's still around. Like that right there, career goals, like hashtag career goals.
We're going to talk to Charlene Woodard one day. We're going to have to get on the show.
You
But
should. Oh, yes.
it is definitely all about you, because you are doing some really big things. Like you will be hosting the daytime Emmys. Like,
oh no, I'm not hosting. I'm nominated. I'm a daytime Emmy nominee.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say hosting. I was looking at the list or whatnot.
Oh no, that's okay. You scared me.
No.
I was like, they have me hosting too. I don't know my
They did
lines.
not have me hosting. I wish, but they could.
They should.
They should. Yes,
right.
you would kill it. You would definitely kill it.
Thank you. I think
So
so.
let's talk about these nominations that you got.
Yes. So I was nominated for Days of Our Lives for my role, Dr. Amanda Rayner, who is the resident Salem baby stealer. That's all I did on this show was steal people's babies, because I played a doctor. I played an OBGYN, and I just stole folks' babies. That's all I did. And I sold them to other people. I was misunderstood, though. It wasn't malicious. I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it for my safety. I always play characters who are very misunderstood.
You do play characters that are misunderstood.
I do.
I think the role that I like the most about you is I loved when you were on Mutinex. That was my favorite one, because I was so into superheroes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And back then you didn't really see a lot of Black female action stars. And so
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, that's
Yeah.
really, really, really good. And what's so
Thank
funny
you.
is years later, my friend, he actually does comic book writing and stuff like that. And he was like, "You ever seen Mutant X?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "You know, the Black girl that was on there, like this is a character that kind of reminds me that I made off of her." And like he's all about putting representation of like minority characters inside the comics. And that's where
Yeah.
you go. We talk about representation matters. You being on that show, him seeing you on there, inspired him to create a character they see from the comic books to create
That's
diversity and more
beautiful.
programming.
That's
I think that's
beautiful.
amazing.
Look, that's how we have to do it. And it's time now. It's our time. And we should absolutely see ourselves in everything we turn on. And when I don't, I have a real problem with it. Like there was a time way back in the day, I don't know if you remember the show Cheers.
I
And
do.
I was like, I love Cheers. It's well written, it's well acted. There ain't nobody that looks like me on this show.
At all. We drink.
We
We go to bars.
we drink. I drink.
We know
I
we
can
go to
drink.
bars.
We know we go to bars. Now I
Right.
can almost like it was almost a pass because it's Boston, but still, like there are so many shows that were like that when I was young. Whereas like, how are there no Black characters at all? Like none.
Like Friends.
Not even. I was just about to say, let's not mention
Yeah.
Friends, but let's mention Friends.
But let's talk
Like
about
seriously, you ain't
You're in New
got
York City?
one. You in New York City? That's my hometown. I was born and raised in New York City. So
Listen,
I was at least one. I could have been one friend. Yeah, y'all had, but no, it doesn't make any sense. So that's all right. And we are getting our comeuppance now. Things are getting
so
corrected.
You really do feel like we're doing better with representation.
I do feel like we're doing better. I think there's a long ways to go, you know, because right now I think with everything we get, it's a little bit of a throw a dog a bone, right? And we gain a little ground. And then there's like a leveling out. There's like a stasis that happens. And there's sort of like the status quo happens where I sure hope they're happy with what they got, right? But what has happened in this past year is we've all recognized, okay, we're about to go somewhere completely different, and I'm willing to go if you're willing to go. So
let's talk.
Okay. So being a person of color, right, but being particularly a Black-bodied person in this country means that we hold a certain amount of anger and resentment and straight up fear. Like you don't know when you're going into any situation what is going to happen. And we have to deal with it in the workplace. We have to deal with it sometimes in our families. Half of my family is white. And I have had family members say things to me that sometimes were like, woo, I know you love me, but woo, like not okay, right? And what has happened with this past year with George Floyd, with Ahmaud Arbery, with Breonna Taylor, with the trans community being attacked, we have finally found our space where we are no longer afraid to stand up and say, this is unacceptable. So what had happened was and I don't want to say we got complacent because I don't think that's fair, right? The civil rights movement was huge. And I believe the race as a whole needed to, we needed to refresh. We needed to rejuvenate. We needed some time to just sit and be and settle, right? We needed to send a couple generations through college. There was financial wealth that we needed to build. And has it been built completely? Absolutely not. But there were a lot of things that we used during this time of restoration, right? And rest. And people are like, this is complacency. It wasn't complacency, right? When you think of our lives individually, yes, you could say that. But when you think of the trajectory of our race, we needed a minute. And now that minute is over. And now we're back and saying, now we need the next step in this, which is true healing. It is the healing of our trauma, and it's the recognition of what we deal with on a daily basis, moment by moment, in every situation. And so now there's anger allowed to rage. Our rage is allowed to come out now. And there are many different, somatic abolitionism is one of the places where I'm really excited about. Resmaa Menakem actually is one of the leaders in that work. And it is the healing of the Black body in terms of trauma. And not just ours, but our ancestors, because we carry the anger and the rage of our ancestors. We carry that in our bodies. That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. And that has to be healed.
There's been studies about that.
Absolutely. They absolutely have. And now it's finally coming to light. Now science is saying what we've been saying all along, right? Is that slavery is in our genetic makeup.
Yeah.
right? And so
Yes,
now it is time for the next level of healing. And I think it will be one of the deepest parts that we do, which is our own collective healing, the healing of our collective and ancestral trauma, which I think is beyond important. It is paramount in terms of us continuing in this country. Otherwise, let's just pack it up and find somewhere else to go, right?
So
If we're going to be here, healing has to happen.
It's really interesting that you talk about that, because one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, recently, as of yesterday, they passed, they how can I say this? They ratified making Juneteenth a federal holiday.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, wow, great. But in the meantime, somebody else pointed out, well, across the country, they're canceling critical race theory teaching in class, which means you can't teach about slavery, you can't teach about white privilege, white supremacy, or racism, or put it in a concept of where the Eurocentric view was completely wrong.
Yes.
Do you feel like that's a scapegoat, or is that, or some kind of gaslighting for us? Like, okay, well, y'all not gonna get this and this, but we give you a free day off. We're validating you, but we're not gonna validate all of that.
Yes. So, can we talk about voter suppression? Can we talk? There's so much, right? I don't think, and let me just be clear, I don't think it's always malicious, right? I think it is in the fabric, because slavery is not just in our fabric. It's in the fabric of white bodies too. It's in the fabric of anybody who is in this country, okay?
Right.
And so everyone is operating out of it in some way. And I think some things are absolutely performative. It was sort of like putting, would I love to see a Black person on some money? Right. Okay, hello. Right?
Yeah.
Do we really want Harriet Tubman? Is it okay to have Harriet Tubman on a dollar bill or whatever bill? That's cute and everything, but I need more than that. And maybe you don't see what is required, but that's our job, right? That's our job to say, so the Juneteenth thing, that's real cute. We'll take it. And let's look at the school to prison pipeline. Let's look at voter suppression. Let's look at the 3 places where where most of the textbooks on history are being created, which is Texas, California, and there's another one. But they're all in places where, and we always think California is very progressive. No, it is not. Not all of California. California is a big ass state. It is not all progressive. It is mostly not. And so there are so many other things that we need to address. And it's our job to say, hey, really excited that you want to be an ally. Take Juneteenth. Absolutely. Thanks so much. And also, I need this, and this as well. Let's start working on that. And you can work on that while I'm resting on Juneteenth.
Yes. I'm going to take that day off, but you're going to continue to work.
I should take that. I'm gonna take that for prayer. I'm gonna take that for prayer and meditation.
What Jill Scott said in my petition, she said, "Give it to me like you said." She said, because you owe it to me, and you do.
Yes.
You absolutely do.
But you know what? And here's the thing:
for all these different people, why not us? Why not Black people?
Exactly. But here's the thing: they don't just owe it to us; they owe it to themselves. Because when one group of people is oppressed, all people are oppressed. When one group of people,
said that.
The value of the society is judged based on the way you treat the lowest. Well, then what is that saying about us? And that is the thing, is we don't all heal, right? They're looking and go, we're giving you this. No, you're giving that to yourself too. You will be freeing yourself from white body supremacy, which is necessary for your freedom and unfoldment. Because you don't realize it gives you things in certain places in the material way, but it also takes away from you, because it takes away from humanity as a whole, and you are still part of humanity. We could,
Ooh, girl, listen,
yes.
You're talking, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. Because I always tell people,
it is.
They say, they want to talk about white fragility and white guilt. Well, they can be relieved of that if they will just do what's right. Do what's right.
Yes, and investigate.
One time they said that equity and equality feel like oppression when you're the one that's having to give something up.
Yes.
And they don't want to endure oppression.
No.
And we're not trying to utilize the entire race. You know what I'm saying? We're just talking in general.
No.
Those who, if you allege that you're an ally, this is a difficult conversation to have, but it's one that needs to be heard and one that needs to be understood here and here.
I'm a amen on that.
That's the reality of the situation. It's going to be a lot of difficult conversations. It's going to be a lot of uncomfortable.
Absolutely. That's right.
Welcome to being Black in America, where you're generally uncomfortable.
See, I mean, this is the thing.
To be Black in America is to be in a constant state of rage.
That's right.
I'm sorry, to be Black, be Black in America, to be relatively woke, not completely. That means
not even completely.
Woke. It's to be in a constant rage. That's a problem. That means, just a little bit, you like,
that's a problem.
I'm pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I do know why.
Right.
And I do know why.
But here's the thing. And you want to hear something really amazing. See, this is just gonna it just gets me all excited. So rage, we know, right? Any lower vibration, like rage is a lower vibration. We could use it for something higher. We could use it to fuel change, right? But rage actually compromises the immune system. It compromises the nervous system. When we're ever in fight, flight, or freeze, our immune systems are compromised. Our nervous systems are compromised, which means our bodies break down quicker. The fact that we are still alive and thriving is a testament to our resilience and being and standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. It is the strength that we have. We're superhuman, right? The thing is,
say that right.
Because now we can withstand anything.
Yeah.
We can withstand anything. I mean, I don't know of people who can tolerate the amount of pain and grief and suffering that we have and still be in a backyard barbecue and laugh so loud and so much that we can't contain ourselves and we got to run in a circle. I saw that clip. Did you see that clip?
That's what they can say.
Where yes, where you laugh, only black people will laugh and have to run around, just run away from it because it's just so hilarious and there's just so much joy. Like, that's a testament to our resilience and our joy and our ability to overcome. It could have only happened to a people this strong.
Well, let's talk about this though. So COVID happened last year. 2020 was on pause.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like to say God had to put the entire world on pause so they could stand still and watch and say, Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
With that pause, we got to see Black Lives Matter. We got to see some reformation. We got to see some wokeness. What do you think the entertainment industry is going now with when it comes to COVID? What's next? What's the next step?
That's a good question. I know there's. I admit, and my heart goes out. People calling me.
Hold on, I can't hear you.
My heart goes out to anybody. You see what happens.
You got to do like I do. You got to put it on Do Not Disturb.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. Okay, good. So, my heart goes out to anybody who was affected adversely by COVID, right? Obviously, jobs lost, people got sick, some people passed on, and it was a time of great reflection and a time of great pause, and we absolutely needed it, right? And I think it was for the world, right? And it was for George Floyd, it was for Native Americans, it was for brown people. Our indigenous brothers and sisters have been invisible. They have been invisible, right? That came to light. There was so much that needed a light shined on it, right? In that pause. And I know a lot of people were really excited to come. They were like, I'm glad the pandemic is over, this and that. It's time to go back to life as usual. I hope that doesn't happen.
I want it better.
Right?
Yeah, I want it better.
No, please, like, what was the point of all of that if we have not grown and up-leveled our experience?
Right.
And so I don't know what's going to happen with the industry. What I am hoping, on a very small level, most of our auditions were on tape, which I loved. I got a 6-year-old, having to manage like finding somewhere for her to be when I go to do an audition or go to do a job. It's like a lot. So yeah, I would rather go in my little room over here, do my self tape, and be done with it, you know. And then I also don't have to talk to people. I don't need,
Yeah.
I'm a little. Many people don't know this. I can be a little socially awkward. I sometimes have some challenges being in rooms with people I don't know. I'm like, can we just
Hi.
hi?
I'm kind of the same
You know,
way. So I
and I'm not even gonna say it's awful. See, yeah, just can I? And they want to talk. And hey, how you doing? Where you been? I saw you on so and so. I'm like, can we just do the audition? So can we just do that so I can go? So I'm hoping that stays, right? I'm hoping that stays. But I really do hope that this industry, who really can be a leader, when the film and television industry leads in something, the world follows. And I think really being a leader in demonstrating what it could mean to be, to show normalcy. You know, I don't like the word diversity. I like the word normalcy. Our world looks like this. And if we want to be received as the country that we keep saying we are, this, you know, melting pot and everybody and all the cultures and this and that, then let's show that. Let's do that. Let's do that. And I think this industry could lead in that, and that would be beautiful. And we'll see what they do.
You know, when we talk about diversity, a lot of times we talk about, you know, sexuality, gender, and race. What about body type? For me, I'm a very big body positive advocate. Once upon a time, I was 390 pounds.
It looks like things might be frozen, huh? I think it's frozen.
No, you're not frozen. No, I can hear you. Your face. Well, let me see. Can you hear me? Hello? Ooh. Hello? 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 Okay, can you hear me? Victoria, can you hear me? All right, y'all, give us just a moment. Victoria's trying to come back on. She's having a few technical issues. Do you guys have any questions?
Is this better?
Yeah, okay, I can hear you now.
You're gonna hear my child over here.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you. It's a little blurry.
Okay.
Your picture is, but I can see you.
Okay.
Listen, I understand the Wi-Fi be crazy sometimes.
This is tripping.
Okay, that's better. So what I was saying is, I know a lot of times when we talk about diversity, we talk about like race, gender, sexuality. But for me, as somebody who's a body positive advocate, I used to be 390 pounds myself. What about body types? When are we going to see? Not so. I want to say we see bigger women on screen now, and that's yes. become quite a norm. Then leading roles, yes. I think of like, you know, Queen Latifah. Yes. What's her name? Last name McCarthy. She's gonna be playing Ursula. What's her name?
Melissa.
Melissa McCarthy. I think about Lizzo. But
yes,
you don't really
absolutely.
see that same love for bigger men. You don't really see the big men in leading roles or being romanticized. And you know, that's something I'm big push for. Can Hollywood do a better job, do you feel like, in being represented people of various body types?
Absolutely. So I really love the times when they would allow, right, when they would allow larger folks and bigger folks to be in films and in television was when they were the best friend or the comic relief, right? But never in love scenes, never a leading lady or a leading man.
Right.
I'm actually currently listening to because I can't read books anymore. I can't sit nowhere and read nothing. But Sonia Renee Taylor wrote this book called The Body Is Not an Apology. Brilliant. If anybody everybody should read it. Oh my goodness. Oh, you would absolutely love it. The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia Renee Taylor. And it really does talk about how our bodies are also under attack, right? Constantly under attack. Sizeism is a real thing. And I mean, I have to admit, I'm small, but I do remember I went through it, like, okay, let me see. My body type is more acceptable, right? And I recognize that. There are things that I have an advantage in. I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Light skin privilege is a real thing. My size, like this size privilege is a real thing. But we definitely can do so much better. I want to see larger folk. I want to see bald women in a leading role. Like, can we see bald women in a leading role and not where she's doing something, she's like some strange, odd, whatever. Just a bald, larger woman in a romantic leading lady role. Can we see that? And also with men. And you're right. I hadn't even thought about it with men. But absolutely, we absolutely need to see that. And not the maid and not the best friend and not the comic relief.
I agree. I agree. And for me, because that's something, like I said, I advocate for. And a lot of times they'll say, oh, well, it's not that bad. You know, that's just what people's preference and sex sales. So well, let me get you to understand something. Once upon a time, they said nobody wants to see black people in a movie. Nobody wants to see a movie about women. Nobody wants to see gay movie. Nobody wants to watch something about a handicap or a special needs child.
That's right.
Once upon a time, and then you get out, until then, Moonlight got an Oscar. You see tons of female-led movies and stuff now, superhero movies and action films and stuff. You see a lot of different situations where you have stuff about special needs kids and differently able-bodied people. But, you know, when it comes to the friends, the bigger people, when it comes to guys, especially that I've noticed, is like you said, he's a comic relief, he's the sidekick. And I'm just kind of like, well, are you trying to say that big men aren't attractive too?
Aren't attractive,
and people are saying, and like, and I told them, I said, there's a difference between preference and being socially engineered to believe that because somebody is bigger, that they're dumber, they're lazier, they're not attractive, and they're not something that you should want.
Exactly. Because, and also, let's just say, who makes these rules? Because I also remember, I know I've been to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I know that many of those pictures, the paintings of those women and those men, they were big and naked and beautiful, and people were like, that was what was in. So who decides what's in? And why do we follow it? Why are we being led around by our noses, by media in that way? I think that's one of those times that we need to be like, no, we're not doing that. And I think we actually do it in our movies. When we are running something, I think we see a lot more people, a lot more different sizes, a lot more different colors, a lot more, you know what I mean? And I think we actually can do better with seeing more differently abled people in our films.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if we can rely specifically on Hollywood to make that shift. I think we have to do it. We're gonna have to do it. You know.
I know you said you like Pose too. It's a quote that Angela Evangelista said that has changed my entire life. She said, "The world don't change, people change."
That's right.
That's the episode when her and Poppy got the modeling gig, and she told the lady that, and I said, you know what? Damn it, that's what I need to hear. If I want to change things, and I got to do my part, do my role to get in there, do the work, get my foot in the door, and make it easier for a bigger guy who in the corner who nobody's paying attention. Say, hey man, come on, do this role, do this sex scene, do this. You got it. I'm rooting for
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it.
I agree.
Victoria, what is it? What would you like your fans to know? If you could say anything, and you can say anything you want to say, then what would you like to know? Because you have a lot of supporters. I'm looking at all this love coming through on these comments and these waves and stuff.
Thank you.
And you are a very loved person.
Thank you. I absolutely receive the love. I guess that's what I would want them to know, that, you know, we may not know each other personally or individually, but I am absolutely in love with all people who support me, because I know I feel it energetically. I know that's one of the things, you know, when you send out a prayer or a blessing to society, they don't realize that actually is carrying you in some ways. That is it accumulates into a collective energy that allows people to ride it, you know, and I appreciate that. And I may not know everybody by name, but yes, I'm sending love out to all the folks who support me. I really appreciate you all. And you could clown me about my lash. You could clown me because I see it starting to come up, and I am not ashamed. I'm too long in this game to be worried about a lash coming up, but there it is right there. And I'm just gonna keep blaming it. I'm gonna just keep blaming it on my 6-year-old. She was in school today. I had to go through school, then ran over here and put my face on Do the Live.
That is hilarious. Victoria, has been a pleasure speaking with you. I hope you follow us at Kontrol Magazine. You can follow me at Michael Jonvier. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to talking to you. And guys, Victoria is actually going to be doing some work with Kontrol. So we'll talk about more of that later on.
Yes,
she's launching something, pretty big, bringing that, the health and the fitness to us. So we're going to talk about that, So y'all stay tuned for that.
Yes.
And of course, y'all stay tuned for more Kontrol Conversations with your boy, Michael Jonvier. I love you all for tuning in. Thank you for your support. And we will talk soon. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.